Good morning, dear students. Let me welcome the 8th class students to this third period of revision of the English 2 class. Today we will revise the previous discussions of our English 2. Previously we have already discussed 2 classes, 2 periods, revising the chapters we had discussed earlier, keeping in mind about your half-yearly examination. Let's today also some chapters which we have not yet covered as for revision, we will again revise today. And before understanding today's class, let's have a little concentration. For that, please sit Siddha with Dhyan Mudra and have Brahmanath. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Relax. Dear students, today is our third period for revision of our English 2 subject. So previously we did discuss several chapters, we revised them. And today also we will revise some chapters. And today's discussions, today's revision is about our relative pronoun and interrogative links. And before understanding them, let me write something so that you can better understand and recall our previous discussions. Okay? Dear students, so today we will our discussion is about relative pronoun. Understand? So relative pronoun is a very important pronoun because when we discussed about pronouns, we have understand about different types of pronouns: personal pronouns, interrogative pronouns, relative pronouns, infinitive pronouns, and so we have different types of pronouns we discussed. We are not going to discuss them right now. Today we will only understand about relative pronouns. Relative pronouns in the sense, let us have here the concept relative pronoun comes when a pronoun is functioning as a pronoun. Some words are functioning as pronouns as well as functioning as relatives. They are creating relations between two clauses. Okay, for that I have written over here some sentences, you just see. What happens, you see, Ramo is a good student. Who is a good student? Ramo is a good student. Ramo or he we can write because it is a boy, therefore we can write he. Either Ramo or he we can write. Always tells stories. So now we will connect both these sentences. How can we connect? The connection will be, here you see, in place of this noun or pronoun, Rama is a noun, he is its personal pronoun. In this place, we can use who, because it is used as a subject. So, who always tells stories. Who tells stories? Rama tells stories. So, how can we connect this? We can connect Rama is a good boy. Rama is a good boy who always tells stories. You see, Rama is a good boy who always tells stories. This who we have used in place of Rama, and it is used as a pronoun, but at the same time it is connecting these two clauses and making one sentence. Therefore, this who, which is a pronoun, but though it creates relation between two clauses, it is called relative pronoun. You understood? We have discussed. We are just recalling this so that you can better understand and recall our previous discussion. So, what happened? Here, who is functioning as a relative pronoun. So, relative pronouns are like who, whom, whose, that, what, which, that, which, for, which. So, relative pronouns, this who, whom and whose, which are functioning as pronoun as well as relatives to connect two sentences. Who, whom, whose are used for persons, you know. And for things and animals, non-living things, we use that which as subject, that which as object, and for which as possessive. So normally, relative pronouns have been used in three different ways. One is as a subject, another is as object, and possessive case. Understand? So here, you see Rama was used as a subject. Understand? So therefore, we have used who. Let's understand how we are using who as a subject, whom as an object, and whose is its a possessive case. Similarly, how that and which are used as subject, that and which are used as object, and for which used as possessives. Okay? Let me write some examples so that you can better understand. You understood? These who, whom, whose are used for persons, that and which used for things and animals. Who is used as a subject, whom as an object, whose is possessive case. Similarly, that and which are used as subject, again that and which are used as object, and for which are used as possessives. Okay, so let me write some examples. Let's understand first who, how who is used as a subject. Okay, let's see. Here you see, now we are discussing how who, which is used for persons, is used as a subject. Okay, so now you see I have written, when we are using who as a subject, we use in two ways. That means there are two types, two ways of using who as a subject. Now you see, in type 1, we have written two sentences. I know a boy. I know a boy. The boy is from Pakistan. Who is from Pakistan? The boy is from Pakistan. So now we will create relation between the two sentences. Now we will create relation. What happens? I know a boy. In place of this boy, we have used who is from Pakistan. That means we have taken the second sentence and added with the first at the end of the first sentence using a relative pronoun who, because it is used as a subject. The boy, in place of this boy, we have used who as a subject. So the first sentence, the second sentence added at the end of the first sentence using a relative pronoun in place of this noun. Okay? So similarly, what happened? I know a boy who is from Pakistan. But sometimes what happens? So we take the first sentence and add in the second sentence as well. So see, here is another type 2 is another example. The thief stole the watch. Who stole the watch? The thief stole the watch. Again, the thief was punished. Who was punished? The thief was punished. Who was punished? The thief was punished. Why the thief was punished? Because he stole the watch. So what we will do? We will take this sentence and add over here. So what we will do? In place of this we can use who? The thief who stole the watch was punished. Understand? So what happened? The thief, here the thief who stole the watch. That means it is giving more information about the particular thief. So the thief who stole the watch, not who stole the who picked my pocket, who stole the watch was polished. So in this two types, sometimes we take the second sentence and add with the first sentence. Similarly, sometimes we take the first sentence and add with the second sentence. This is how we use who as a subject. But you see, everywhere we are taking the subject. Here thief is subject. Here also the boy is subject. Understand? So now let's understand how whom is used for subject for as an object for persons. Okay, let me write something. As I have already told you, we use who in place of a subject as a subject. But I have also told you we use whom for persons when we refer it as an object. But what happens? Sometimes we are in confused. We can use who in place of whom as well. But what happens? Who is informal English? We can use in place of we can use who in place of whom. Understand? But in informal English, in formal English, we use whom. But as we interact in our day-to-day life, we can use whom if there is a preposition before it. Otherwise, we can use who even if we are using it as an object. You see from these examples. You see, the man is deaf. Who is deaf? The man is deaf. You spoke to the man. Here you see, the man here is used as an object. So, in before this, there is a preposition to. So, though it is an object and before it there is a preposition, so we can use whom in place of this man. So, what it will happen? To whom? Understand? So, we can use whom if there is a preposition before it. If there is no preposition, we can use who easily. So, we can write them using either ways. We can use preposition plus whom. We don't use preposition and we use who and write the preposition in some other place. You see. So what we will do? The man, here is the man. Yeah. Object who you spoke to is deaf. Deaf means can't hear. Okay. So here we have used who because before this who there is no preposition. So in place of whom we could use who. But if we want to use to, the preposition before this who, we cannot use who. We have to use whom. So we can write like this. The man to whom, that means to whom you spoke is a deaf. Okay. So here to went after the verb, but here to is before the preposition. So if there is a preposition before who, then it must be who. If there is no preposition, we can use who for that. So we should not be in confused. But often we should use who in place of whom. If a preposition is used, we must use whom instead of who. Understand? So this is how whom and who are used as object to make as relative pronouns. Let's understand some other thing. That means that and who is as a subject. Okay? Let's understand that how that and which we use them for places, things and animals we know. That and which in place of subject. How we are using them? So using that and which as relative pronouns as a subject to connect two clauses or two sentences to make one sentence. There are two ways. So let's understand first the type 1 way. How we connect two sentences using that and which as relative pronouns for things, animals and places in place of a subject. You see, here I have written a sentence. Type 1. I have lost the pen. Here what I have lost? The pen I have lost. Similarly, the pen was a gift from my uncle. Okay? What was the gift from my uncle? The pen. So here the pen is a thing. So in place of this pen as a subject, we can use that or which. Understand? So what we will do? We will take the second sentence and add with the first sentence. This is the type 1. So what happened? I have lost the pen. I have lost the pen. That or which was a gift from my uncle. I have lost the pen. That or which was a gift from my uncle. So in the first type, what happened? We took the second sentence, added with at the end of the first sentence using a relative pronoun, and we have used that and which as a relative pronoun as a subject in place of the subject, because in place of this pen which is used as a subject, in place of that we have used that and which and made a complete sentence, made a single sentence, and they are functioning as relatives as well as pronouns. That creates link. So what happened? I have lost the pen. That or which was a gift from my uncle. Similarly, another example I have written over here. You just see of the same type that we have a dog. What we have? We have a dog. It watches our house at night. Who watches? The dog watches. So here it means the dog. Understand? So though it is an animal, a small animal, it is used as a subject. In place of this subject, we can use the pronoun that is that or which and connect with the first sentence. So what we will do? We have to which or that watches our house at night. We will add at the end of the first sentence. So what it will be? We have a dog that or which watches our house at night. So in this first type, we understood we used the relative pronoun that and which in place of a subject, which is a thing or an animal, and added at the end of the first sentence. This is type 1. Okay, let's understand type 2. Another type of using that and which as a subject in place of a subject and used as a relative pronoun with some examples. Let's see. Okay, understand? Don't be confused. We have already discussed this. We are now revising to recall our past knowledge. Okay, let's write some examples for that. Type 2. See, here we are discussing the type 2 of using that and which in place of a subject. What happens? This type 2 is used one of the adjectives. You cannot understand right now. When you will understand the relative clause, when you will be in higher classes, then you can better understand. But here I will tell you only one concept, that we are giving more information by adding a clause as an adjective to define one subject or noun. Now you see, the train has arrived. So when we are talking about the train, we are in confused. There are 100 trains are coming to the platform, to any station. So which train we did not get clarification over here. So the train goes to Delhi. So here we are talking about a definite train that goes to Delhi. Though they are the train, they are the things, for them we can use that or which as a subject in place of a subject. So here what we will do? So here after this train, this train which or that, the train which or that goes to Delhi has arrived. The train which goes to Delhi has arrived. Not all those trains. Which train arrived? The train which or that goes to Delhi has arrived. So here what happened? We took this sentence and added in the first sentence over here after the noun phrase. So here this daughter which goes to Delhi is talking more about this train. Understand? So it is simple train. When we have added this is functioning as an adjective of this train. So a clause that functions after the noun phrase, a clause that is used as an object after the noun phrase is called a relative clause. That is a different concept we will understand when we are in higher classes. So, but here we have taken the second sentence and added with the first sentence and to give more information about this subject. Okay, so though it is a train, we have used which or that in place of that as a pronoun, but though they are creating link, they are used as relative pronouns over here as a in place of subject. Similarly, another example I have given over here, you see. This shop is for sale. Which shop? There are 100 shops are available. Which shop is for sale? This shop is on the roadside. So the shop which or that is on the roadside is for sale. So what happened? So here we took this shop and used that which or that over here and added over here. The shop that or which is on the roadside is for sale. Understand? So here this shop which or that is on the roadside is for sale. So this is here in two different ways we use that and which as relative pronouns to connect two clauses or two simple sentences or two sentences as a pronoun as well as functioning as relatives. So they are called relative pronouns. Now we understood how that and which we use for things, places and animals used in place of a subject and functioning as relative pronouns in two different types of their uses. Okay, so let's understand how that and which are used as relative pronouns in place of an object. Let me write some examples so that you can better understand. I'm again telling you, we have already discussed them. We are just revising to recall our past knowledge. Okay? Thank you. Here you see, now we are discussing how that and which we use for persons, things and animals in place of object. You see, last time we understood that and which are used as relative pronouns in place of subject. Now, the same thing can also be used in place of objects. Okay? So now see, from these examples, we will understand them. So, I have given you two different examples. You just understand. Try to understand. Very important. Because here you will find the secret so that you will avoid mistakes while writing your answers. Okay? So now you see. In number 1, I have found the pen. Here the pen is used in the place of object. Similarly, I had lost the pen. Now both these nouns are used in place of object. So what happens? I have found the pen that or which I had lost. Understand? So, in place of this pen, we used that or which. And we took this at the beginning of the sentence and the entire sentence added over here. So, what happened? I have found the pen that or which I had lost. Understand? Okay? So, next example you say, the house is for sale. What is for sale? House is for sale. I used to live in it. So you see here it means the house. It means the house. And before this it, we have a preposition in it. Okay? So for this it, we can use that or which that. In that we can never use. It is beyond the rules of our grammar. But we can use in which. Suppose we will write in which, it is correct. So it is used in object plus. So what we will do? We can write in either way. So the house in which I used to live is for shall. Understand? So here we have used in, therefore we have used which. We cannot use in that over here. But if we use that here as a relative pronoun for in place of an object, then we cannot use any preposition before them. If we are using a preposition before that as a relative pronoun, our sentence is grammatically incorrect. Okay, so here the house that I used to live in. After this verb, we have used this preposition over here. But not before that. If we use this preposition before that, then it is incorrect. Therefore, we have taken the preposition after the verb and we have used that. We can use in which, but we cannot use in that. Okay? So, if we want to use that, then prepositions should be transmitted after the verb. Okay? So, the house that I used to live in is for shall. Or we can use the house in which I used to live is for shall. There are two ways. Understand? So the concept is here, we cannot use a preposition before that, but we can use a preposition before which. This is the only difference from these examples. Understand? So now let's understand something more about these relative pronouns. Okay? Let me write. Here you see, now we are going to use whose and of which in possessive sense. So just like Ramaskar, I have already told you we use apostrophe s to talk about the possessive case of a noun or a pronoun. For living things we use apostrophe s, and for non-living things we use of which. Understand? So this is for non-living things, this is for living things. We use them for in sense of possessive case. Understand? Now let's understand from those examples given over here. Here you see, I have given two examples for your clear understanding. We discussed them earlier. We are just revising to recall our past knowledge. This is the matter. Try to understand. And after understanding this, go through those exercises we have already discussed earlier while discussing the exercises. Now you see, in example 1, first sentence, the boy's bicycle broke down. Whose bicycle? Boy's bicycle broke down. Boy apostrophe s. Here apostrophe s we have used because the boy is a living being. Therefore we have used apostrophe s. It is talking about the possessive case of this boy. So next thing is the boy walked to the school. Who walked to the school? The boy. Why the boy walked to the school? Because his bicycle broke down. So the boy, in place of this boys, we can use whose. The boy whose bicycle broke down walked to the school. So we take this entire sentence and write over here. So the boy whose bicycle broke down walked to the school. Understand? So this is what about a person. Similarly, another sentence, another example I have written over here. You just try to understand and concentrate, please. You see, the team has won. The team has won. Here, when we are talking about the team, we are in confused which particular team has won. So, to have more confirmation, to have more information about this particular team, the second sentence has been given. I am a member of the team. So, though it is this team, in this team, in place of this team, we can use which, because team is not a person, it is a group. So what happens? Of which. So I am a member of which. That means we have take this of which and write over here, of which I am a member, and of which I am a member we take and write over here. The team of which I am a member has won. So of which I am a member is giving more information about that team. So we have used of which because here the team we are not considering as living beings. We are talking about a group. Understand? So the team of which I am a member has won. Understand? So today we understood that how we are using these relative pronouns who, whom and whose for persons, who is used for as a, in place of subject, whom or who are used in place of object. We use whom if there is a preposition before that, and similarly whose we are using for persons to talk about its possessive case in sense of possessive cases. Similarly, we use of which to in sense of possessive cases for things. We used that and which as in place of subject. That and which also we used in place of object. Okay, let's understand some more things like interrogative links. Let's understand just to revise briefly to recall our previous discussions. Okay, let me write something. Let's understand right now another topic which we have already discussed. For brief revision, that the topic today is interrogative link. We discussed relative pronouns before this. Now we are discussing interrogative links. You know that when we are talking about interrogative links, interrogative means asking question. Some words we use to ask questions. So what are those words? We know we use who for persons. Who is your teacher? We know who is used to know about a person. Similarly, how can you ask me these answers during examination? So tell me, how did you do this? How did you prepare this query? So we are asking the process. Similarly, we are asking what we are using what? What is your school's name? So when we are talking about things, we use what? Similarly, when we want to know about the time, when does your school open? Every day. Okay. When will your father return from Bhubaneswar? So these are the words we use to ask questions. So when is asking about the time. Where is my seat? So we are asking a place. When we are asking about a place, we use where. Similarly, when we want to identify a particular thing, we use which. Which pen is yours? Here are 3 pens. I don't know. Whose pen is this? Which pen is yours? The red one is mine. Understand? Similarly, when we want to identify a particular one, we use which. We ask a question. Similarly, we use why to know about the reason, the cause. Why did not you come to school yesterday? Yeah, I was suffering from fever, therefore I could not come to school. Understand? So these words are question words, double-edged words. We use them to ask questions. But here in this topic, the sense is the same. But we are not using them to ask questions. We have used them as links. Let me write some sentences so that you can better understand how these words, these double-edged words are used as links so that we can say them as interrogative links. One example, briefly I will tell you so that you can recall your past discussions. Let me write over here first. See, I have written some sentences over here to tell you that how these interrogative words are used as interrogative links. Used as links, though they are interrogative words, therefore we say they are interrogative links. They are interrogative words but functioning as links to link between two clauses or two phrases. Instead, now you see who we are using for persons, so it should be the person. You see, do you know who Mr. Hari is? Do you know who Mr. Narendra Bhai Modi is? Instead, yes, I know him. He is our Prime Minister, the respected Prime Minister. Okay? So similarly, here we are making a link between two phrases. Understand? So here it is functioning as a link, though it is an interrogative word, so we say it is an interrogative link. Understand? Next, how? How is the process? The way he explained how to use smartphone. He explained how to use smartphone. So he explained to use smartphone. So here this how is creating the link between these two phrases and talking about the procedure, the process of using the smartphone. Understand? Similarly, what? We are talking about a thing. Okay? So our teacher told us what a missile is. Our teacher told us what a missile is. Missile, a thing. Therefore, we have used what? What is this? This is a missile. Understand? So, we are using what to ask about a thing. But here we have used as a link between two phrases and for thing we have used what. And so it is interrogative link. Similarly, when he means to ask about the time, this in sense of time. So I can't tell when our school will open. I can't tell is one phrase. Similarly, our school will open is another phrase, and both are connected by using when, which is asking about the time. We are asking about the time, but here it is functioning as a link in the sense of time, therefore it is an interrogative link. Where means to know about the place, the location. So here he asked me where to keep his shoes. Keeping the shoes needs a specific place in our house or somewhere else, whether in our school, in our house, when we go to temple, wherever we are visiting, there is a certain place available where we keep our shoes. Understand? So he asked me where to keep his shoes. Understand? Understand? So similarly, which he asked me where to keep his shoes. The location to keep his shoes. Understand? The place to keep his shoes. Which means to identify a particular one from a limited number of things. So you see, Rama knows which way to go. A particular way, there are 3 to 4 ways to go to our school, but Rama knows the particular way, which way to go to school, which is a shortcut way. Understand? So therefore here we say, despite it is an interrogative word, but here it is functioning as a link, therefore we say it is interrogative link. Understood? So similarly, you see, why? I don't know why. Why is it to know about the reason, the cause? I don't know why Hari is angry with me. I don't know. Hari is angry with me. Why Hari is angry with me? That I don't know. So here, why is talking about the reason. No doubt it is an interrogative word, but here in this sentence is functioning as a link between two phrases or two clauses. Therefore, it is called interrogative links. You understood? These are the interrogative words, but here they are functioning as interrogative links. which we have already discussed earlier. Today we are revising briefly to recall our knowledge, our understanding that previously we discussed. Okay, so let's know something more about using these interrogative links. Something more, a rule that in what other places also we use interrogative links. Let me write some other statements with its reasons. Okay, so that you can better understand. See, here another rule is here. When we are using interrogative link, but here you see interrogative links sometimes use infinitives after this interrogative links. So that means who, whom, whose plus infinitive means 2 plus root. 2 plus root form of the form. That means to it. To it. 2 plus infinitive. That we have already understood earlier in earlier classes. So here you see, sometimes with interrogative links, with who, whom, who, that, who, what, which, where, when, how, why. So with that 2 plus first form also we use. But when we use, we know that we use 2 plus infinitive. When we find both the sentences, while we are connecting two sentences, if both the sentences have the same subject, in that case we can use 2 plus infinitive. You understood, we have discussed 2 plus infinitive earlier. So here you find in this past sentence, I don't know which pen I should use in the examination. So I don't know is one phrase. Which pen I should use in the examination? Here both the sentences have the same, both the clauses you can say, both the phrases you can say, the same subject is available. So what we will do in this case, we don't need to use I should over here. What we will do? I don't know. I don't know which pen to use in the exam. Which pen? So here, instead of used I should, we simply used to over here, to use. That means to use in the examination. Understand? So we did not use. You can recall the infinitive topic we discussed previously. Okay? So similarly, another example you see, Hari does not explain. Hari does not explain. Okay? Or you can say Hari did not explain. Hari did not explain how he should prepare tea. So here you see Hari is the subject and he is the same subject. He means Hari. Both the clauses have the same subject. So here instead of this he should, we can use only to over here. So what we will do? Hari did not explain how to prepare tea. See, this is a interrogative link plus 2 plus infinitive. Interrogative link plus infinitive phrase. Here is interrogative link and infinitive phrase. So this is one of the rules we should recall and understand and use in the examination as well as in our day-to-day interactions. Okay, so similarly we use interrogative links plus infinitives in some other cases, like when we are talking about the verbs for request. Tell, ask him how to do this. Tell him when to come. Okay? Say him what to do. Understand? So these ask, tell, request, so these words are called the words of request. In that place also, if those words are also used, the verbs of request if used, also we can use to plus infinitive after the interrogative links. So students, today we understood, we have revised the relative pronouns as well as interrogative links briefly, which we have already discussed earlier. So today we just revise them briefly to recall our past understandings so that you can have confidence for speaking, for writing and for your examination. I wish you will understand this, and I wish everyone must go through those revision classes I have been sending you time to time. Today's class is the third period of your revision class, and I wish all the classes are interrelated and all are complementary to each other. Therefore, I wish everyone must go through these videos and revise your past discussions and prepare properly for your examination. Wish you all the best for your examination. And if understood, if any problem, you can personally call me using my phone number, or you can send me messages. I will surely support you, certainly help you to clarify any of your doubts if you have any, and give your comments. And particularly I am telling you, subscribe these videos so that whatever new videos we are developing will automatically go to you. You can see them, learn from them and enjoy yourself. For today, only this much. Thank you. Wish you all the best for your examination, my dear students. God bless you.